Welcome to Game 2 of this series. Again, this is Round 3 of Operation Charlie Fox, and we are following Sturm Tiger Giap up the brackets. We saw some controversial play from him there in Game 1. Some people think that it's just part of the game. It's working as intended. I mean, if the devs didn't intend for ghosts to be the way they are, then why would they take more damage from small arms fire? And I don't know, there's arguments on both sides. I think I'm in the minority, so I should probably not make any more unpopular arguments. And let's see what happens here in Game 2. We're going to be seeing TheMachine playing as Soviets and Giap playing as Oster. TheMachine with Lend-Lease, Mechanized Support, and Shock Rifle. Giap's Mechanized Assault, Mobile Defense, and Assault Support. I am biased, Momo. I am biased. I won't deny that. I mean, everybody's seen Grand Theft Kubel. It's like my first trending Kotu.org YouTube video I ever made, because back then, the Kubel wagon was almost literally uncounterable as U.S. forces. Ghosting was the only way to beat it prior to the M20 coming out. There was just nothing else you could do. So I have it built into my brain that ghosting is fair and balanced, and it may not even be fair and balanced anymore, but I just can't change my stance on it now. I'm too far gone. I'm too far gone. I'm brainwashed. What can I say? But that's neither here nor there, because no ghosting is happening in this game so far. Fully constructed barbed wire blocking that green cover right there from Giap as he moves his way down through the middle of the map. He's going with a 4 Grenadier opening versus a 4 Conscript opening. This is very standard stuff. No team weapons yet from either player. And it looks like TheMachine may briefly lose control of his cutoff here. Grenadiers are hopping from building to building to clear the path for this squad to start harassing the cutoff point, and counterattack is already on its way. Molotov research here is about to complete, which means that Giap will not be able to camp these buildings, obviously. Molotovs will force him from the structures and possibly turn engagements in his favor as well. He's got plenty of munitions banked to toss them here in these coming engagements, but it won't even be necessary because Giap knows the engagement is lost and simply retreats before taking any unnecessary manpower bleed. One squad of Grens jumping into the house right here to defend against counterattack, making its way towards the north. And Pyos will continue throwing down green barbed wire in front of green cover positions and try to block pathways to defend this area as efficiently as possible, while combat engineers take control of territory there in the south. Pyos and Grens engaging against conscripts. So far, not a whole lot of Molotovs getting tossed, but a flamethrower has been upgraded here on these combat engineers. He has pushed all the way up to the cutoff, though. He's trying to get it decapped, but he's taking a lot of damage in with no cover in the capture circle. He's going to throw a Molotov there to force those Grens back and prevent them from having a line of fire on these conscripts as they work the cutoff. And finally, there it goes. Will be decapped, but he may honestly have lost this squad doing that. Flamethrower burst coming in, and the Grenadiers in the back pick up the snipe. Conscripts get wiped, so I hope that this brief decap effort was worth it. He's just took quite a bit of very hefty manpower loss in exchange for that, not to mention bleed on these retreating squads. But he's going to try and hold on to this for as long as possible. Flamethrower might get wiped right here. This late retreat. Ooh, that's another wipe. And it explodes all over these conscripts. I think he may have overextended himself here, trying to work his opponent's... Ooh, but he wipes his opponent's flamethrower, though, right there. So they both lost a flamethrower. But TheMachine did lose also an extra squad of infantry on top of that. So, still an even game. If he had not traded for that flamethrower right there, I think that could have been a really, really bad engagement for TheMachine. But since he picked it up, probably still a very even game.
Combat engineers are standing by.
Will I post these games later on? Yes, I'll probably make a YouTube playlist dedicated to Operation Charlie Fox games, so I definitely am planning to do that. So now that shock troops are on the field, Giap is going to be forced to react to them. Going mortar was probably not the best thing he could have done. Obviously, he needs a tool to force his opponent from buildings. He doesn't want to get camped. But having a mortar out means he has one less squad of Grens, or one less machine gun, one less tool with which to manage this. And they're already off to a pretty troubling start. Force that retreat, plus take out 2 Grens. They haven't even taken any damage yet, and they're going to be very difficult for Giap to deal with until he has some kind of something. A 2-2-2 is actually a kind of nice thing to have against shock troops, because does pretty good. It's pretty cost effective against shocks if it can find them alone and engage them from like medium range. But he's not even tier 2 yet, which is generally against Soviets. You wait a while to go tier 2. It's understandable.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
So those shock troops are going to be tough. What is that rumbling? You hear that like deep rumbling
Is now a field
going on?
The enemy has driven a wedge in our lines.
There's an earthquake happening. Whoa, what are they doing though? They just walked into the base bunkers. Well, that's gonna put a damper on their pushing power. They're gonna be forced to retreat, and they didn't even get engaged. They just walked into the OCR base. Bit of a miss micro, I guess, from those shock troops right there. That may give Giap a little bit of wriggle room to retake control of the fuel and munitions here. He does have 2 squads of Grens set up in green cover to try and force away these conscripts.
We are losing territory. Fall back now!
Stalin, fight back! Wait, find me a medic!
Tier 3 going up for the machine to try and keep up the early game pressure. We might see him go with an M5. Although the tier 3 structure is actually coming a little late relative to his fuel economy, so maybe he'll just go straight into tier 4 or maybe T70.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
How come the mortar does that? What is that? Random super deep reverberations every so often when that mortar fires around. It makes me uncomfortable. It like vibrates my bones. Well, Giap has done pretty good at maintaining the absolute bare necessities as austere you want. This cutoff, this VP, this fuel, and this munitions. If you can't hold on to this much, you will probably lose. If you're only holding on to this much, you may still lose, but at least the game may be recoverable. So, it's going to be a long, hard road for Giap from this point forward. Otherwise, we might see this game go to Game 3. Giap has already won faction selection since he had a 500 VP victory in Game 1. Should that occur. And his commander options are Mechanized Assault, Mobile Defense, and Assault Support. Here comes the T-70. And the machine has a lot of reinforcement and healing to do in the base. He's only just now buying Field Infirmary, by the way, so that's actually a little late to be getting healing after getting Tier 3. But the manpower he saved doing that allowed him to get shocks out a little quicker, allowed him to get this beefy infantry corps.
The enemy has
on the field, and it does mean now that he's going to be spending a lot of time with these units idle in the base. So whatever he gained in the early game by doing that, he's sort of now losing in the mid-game. Could be a wipe right here, though. Good opportunity for this T-70, but chasing Pyos back to the base is very dangerous. He's a little bit lucky there's no tether mine anywhere in this area. Without minesweeper support of any kind. AT guns out, so that is tier 2 up. Pretty well timed for the arrival of that T-70. And that's probably going to be pulling back for repairs towards these combat engineers. And AT gun's going to move to protect here in the north. Shock troops going in on Giap's defensive line. The machine gun's not quite set up yet. Grenade toss. He's going to need smoker. His push is going to get shut down pretty much immediately. And any second, there it is. Smoke grenade was too late to prevent the suppression. Molotov's already been tossed, so I think this engagement has failed. A nice surround set up there by Giap. He has grenadiers coming from 3 separate directions in the midst of that engagement, plus the MG42, so no problem shutting down that push. A lot of other squads are still in the base. If he advances with only these 2 squads, I think Giap will probably be able to defend against it easily again, so he might want to wait until he has all of his forces in the same attack. But if he's got the T-70 moving up to do a little bit of extra damage on the flanks, he might be able to make some headway here. Ura's straight up with these conscripts. Maybe he's going to try and harass the strategic points or something. They're not going to be able to stick around in this building forever. Not with that mortar working on him. T-70 is going to try and force the mortar to retreat. Might even pick up that wipe. There's the snipe. Mortar did just enough damage to force the Grens out, but he is going to be forced to recruit that. So manpower bleed on both sides. Nice positioning on the MG42 over there. Perfectly anticipated his opponent's next move. Look at that. The last time that MG was set up, it was way over here. Set it up on the right side, thinking his opponent would try to flank through the north, and was perfectly placed for that push. 2 squads of conscripts forced to retreat before they have any impact whatsoever. And that's going to buy Giap precious time to continue working his way back into the game. 1 territory point at a time, just fighting very slowly for precious ground, but now the victory points will tick against the machine further. Next year in the next tournament. What are my tournaments, Dusty? Chop liver. I guess if you can't win $5,000 in a Starcross Cup tournament, it's not worth participating in.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Wow, AT guns caught so out of position by these shocks. I don't think they're going to be able to get them cleared, though. Base bunkers will probably maybe protect that one. This one does not get away. Shock troops tossing smoke. Here comes the Ura. This is a very dangerous capture attempt. I don't think this is going to happen. Not even close. No chance. There's no way that's going anywhere. I think that was futile. He should have just accepted that that was... He had inflicted manpower bleed on his opponent. There was no reason to accept any manpower bleed in return. Kind of lessens the impact of his own engagement victory right there by doing that. T-70 gets sniped. There it is. 2 AT gunshots connect. If he had popped self-repair in between the first and second shots, I think that would have gotten away. It's kind of a shame. He didn't need to lose that. Su-76 on the field. That's pretty hard into Tier 3 while he waits for a KV-8 to arrive, I assume. Going very shock rifle-oriented strategy here, and Giap still has not picked a commander.
Shock troops have arrived.
Second squad of shocks, wow. SU-76 firing on the MG-42 will prompt it to reposition. It does manage a little bit of suppression, but the other squad's going to oorah up into close range. This squad of conscripts is going to get wiped if they don't get out. He sees the building health going down, repositions.
The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
Taking fire! We have enemy contact!
Cutoff has been taken. The clock's ticking against Giap once again. And mobile defense has been selected. I don't know if mobile defense has the late game to stack up against shock rifle. Nothing it has can really threaten KV-8s except for, I guess, the Puma. By the way, something interesting about mobile defense is target weak point on Stugs got changed, but on Pumas it's still the same. I wonder if that was accounted for, or if they want target weak point to still be the stun on Pumas. I think it's even more overpowered on Pumas than it is on Stugs, but I don't know. Either it was an oversight or they just want Pumas to be able to stun stuff. Ostrupen fielded, so he has played his hand. Machine noses up against mobile defense. Second SU-76 on the field. We're seeing some Red Wings. Some Red Wings meta this game.
Heavy contact!
Enemy attacking SU-76.
Under attack!
Really aggressive push by these Grenadiers right into shock troops, and some lucky SU-76 snipes are not making this push go any better. MG-42 facing towards the right may not be able to stop this push if they sneak by. Nope, switches targets. SU-76 barrage coming in. Oh! Nailed that squad perfectly. Wow! And another squad just got wiped somewhere, but I'm not sure what it was. Oh, it was an Ostrupen squad. Okay, Ostrupen just got wiped. So one of the Ostrupen, I mean, that's not that painful of a loss. They're just Ostrupen, whatever, but that is his manpower down the drain. Counterattack tactics being activated here
Our sector.
to assist Giap in getting territory captured more quickly, I guess. I'm not even sure if that had an impact. It just ended. I'm not even sure he's captured a neutral sector yet. Command tank on the field. SU-76s will be a significant threat to it, but the command tank is pulling them into a highly vulnerable position. He needs those shock troops to go push those AT guns away, or his SU-76s will be unable to advance. So if the command tank forces this retreat... Oh no! That crush maneuver, he has no choice. There he goes. If the shock troops had gone in on the AT guns instead of on that Grenadier squad, I think that command tank could have been in a lot of trouble, but it's exposing itself
Enemy is taking
needlessly here anyway. He's trying to bait those SU-76s into sticking around for AT gun barrage, but no. Won't get off the volley. SU-76s are going to pull back for repairs, and I guess, I don't know who came out on top of that engagement. I saw one wipe for Germans. I don't know if Machine lost anything. I don't think so. A lot of kills and manpower bleed on both sides, but I think overall things are largely even. One squad of Pios, one squad of Ostrupen, and the mortar was recruited. Pack was recruited, so a couple wipes there, and
Clips under attack! We are ready for anything.
3 wipes for the Machine so far this game. 2 squads of conscripts. I must have missed a conscript squad getting wiped at some point, plus the flamethrower from earlier. So yeah, pretty much dead even. But map control obviously in the Machine's favor so far this game. And he has access to the KV-8 now, but I'm
taking what we have secured.
getting the sense that maybe he wants to go straight for IS-2? I don't know. Maybe he just needs the manpower.
Squad at full strength. A sector has been cut off.
Hostile infantry! What do you want?
Eyes are up, and my back is out.
So the machine is actually going to split his forces. Half of his army defending the South VP, the other half working the North, unsuccessfully so far. That's going to, he's going to be splitting his micro and splitting his firepower. He's going to be very weak on both fronts. And he doesn't hold the center either. The center is right now heavily defended, so that's not an option with Su-76s. He needs some sort of heavy-hitting assault vehicle like a KV-8.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Three CPs is a long time to wait for that IS-2 if that's really his plan. Su-76 reveals itself in the north, so Giap is rotating his AT guns up there to respond. Very weak army up here in the north. Looks like it is going to fail to hold the line. Shock troops being engaged by the command tank plus a huge Grenblob. With the command tank buff, no reaction to the rifle grenade, and the squad is wiped as he's trying to deal with something here in the south. Looks like Giap created just enough of a diversion down there to get his opponent's attention. That's going to cost the machine a shock troop squad. The machine is going to try and trade. He makes a huge push with his Su-76 from the south, plus a KV-8. The AT guns are set up to counter. That is in a lot of danger. KV-8 is working on the AT gun in the front and will clear it. It's a good start. Su-76 firing on the command tank. KV-8 falls to half. Command tank falls to half. Both of them in danger. They're both trying to pull back to safety, and these infantry will advance to clear the gun. Su-76 moving up on the flank, also taking shots at the command tank. One shot connects, it's getting to Vet 2. It's extremely close to being destroyed. I think he might pick it up here. I think an AT grenade might finish the job. Here it comes, and not quite enough. He needs to circle around with some unit somewhere. Puma arrives to protect and prevent this Su-76 from doing just that and try and force these infantry to retreat. Su-76 barrage on these grenadiers does only minor damage as the conscripts there are forced to retreat. AT grenade on the Puma just damaged its engine. Su-76 might pick that up. It pops smoke, but attack ground finishes the job. Puma goes down before it has any real impact. The command tank is being forced to hide with 1 HP. Grenade toss right there, no reaction, nice grenade. Conscripts might finish them off on retreat. Incendiary artillery in the retreat path also has potential here. Oh, wow, I can't believe that squad just got away. This one may not be so lucky though. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 2 squads of grenadiers are very, very lucky to be alive. Giap is thanking his chosen deity right now.
Taking our territory.
This game. This game. Conscripts are being forced to retreat right there. Minesweepers are working on the VP in the north, and minesweepers are working on the VP in the south. The machine still has a significant lead and has taken no vehicle losses. Meanwhile, Giap has lost a Puma and is not in an excellent fuel situation. He's probably going to keep fielding Pumas as his only real form of anti-tank, plus AT guns. His only real mobile form of anti-tank to maybe look for opportunities to hunt and destroy the KV-8 should it fall dangerously low. Maybe he can nail it with target weak point or something. We may not ever be seeing tier 3 from him this game. In fact, I don't think I've seen him go battle phase 2 yet this tournament, which is not necessarily a huge surprise.
You needed fire support?
You need something demolished?
Giap will get a triple cap set up against his opponent, possibly for the first time all game. While the machine is spending a lot of time reinforcing and healing and repairing in his base. Gives Giap a lot of room to maneuver and get territory captured. Starts setting up his defensive line and preparing for his opponent's next push. Looks like the south is weakest. The machine is on his way to clean it up. There is an S-mine field. SU-76 is, I guess, just going to drive over all the S-mines, get those out of the way for conscripts to recapture the point. A pretty decent-sized force on its way up here towards the north. SU-76 and Puma both spot each other at the same time. Panzerfaust is coming in, though. It could be in danger. Puma misses its shot right there. Meanwhile, conscripts would prevent it from doing anything overly aggressive, as it needs to pull away from the threat of engine damage. Molotov into the house.
We are losing a sector.
He's given up microing the engagement in the south a little bit here. Here he goes. He needs to get this captured. While he's doing all of this, he needs to try and find a way to micro that at the same time. SU-76 is getting back to safety, and the KV-8 fully repaired is making its way back up into the north. Shock troops and conscripts both got suppressed here. Smoke grenade tossed, but possibly too late. MG-42 will be forced to pack up by this flanking squad of conscripts, but I think these will get wiped if he doesn't get them to retreat immediately. Grenadiers firing on them in red cover from all directions, and the squad goes down. Nice wipe there by Giap. And Ostrupen. Oh, he didn't clean up that last little cluster. Oh, that S-mine cluster did nasty damage. So many of the machine's forces are dedicated to the south, and yet they're taking so much damage from one squad of Ostrupen in an S-mine field. KV-8 makes its way into the north engagement. The SU-76 has not faced the right direction or repaired or anything to counter the Puma there, so could be a better situation. But nice pickup right here. An AT gun stolen by the machine to help anti-tank responsibilities is going to push Giap completely back. The KV-8 chased off all of the grenadiers. The command tank and Puma are back for repairs, so Giap is now the one spending a lot of time reinforcing and healing in his base. And despite the fact that that attack could have gone a lot better for the machine, it largely did succeed. He gets the territory under his control and gets the clock ticking against his opponent once again. Is going to start preparing defenses for whatever his opponent sends back at him. It looks like rather than counterattack in the north, he's going to dedicate a pretty large force towards the south. Should have no problem overwhelming what the machine has down here. In fact, he has no way of repairing this SU-76's engine damage, so it may be in very real danger of being destroyed. There goes the sandbag position. They have no choice but to retreat, and I'm pretty sure this SU-76 is going to go down if support does not arrive immediately from something. Surprised the Puma is not on its way to finish that thing off. I guess he thinks it's too dangerous or too far. I really did not think it was going to survive that engagement. Finally, the IS-2 arrives. He has been waiting for this thing forever. I guess he did go KV-8, so bridge the gap. IS-2 makes its way towards the south and should be just what he needs to force Giap back and maintain control of this VP.
We have an isolated sector.
But clearly it's not the anti-infantry killing machine that the KV-8 is.
The enemy is taking what we have secured. The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
Ooh. That was a nasty hit. Alright, double Puma plus command tank going in on the ISU. I wonder if that's going to be a good idea. He does not have any AT guns moving to assist in this engagement, still protecting in this area, and one has been stolen. But the machine is allowing the North VB to be captured uncontested right now. IS-2 moving up to engage against the Pumas and try and chase them off. They're going to simply kite. They're doing very minor damage at range against the IS-2's heavy armor. Puma shots just bounce, bounce, bounce. 4 bounces consecutively. 6 bounces consecutively. At maximum range, I think a Puma's penetration is like 80. I don't even know if there's a 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 chance of penetration, but clearly They're gonna have to figure something out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Puma just drove right into an Su-76 and a T-gun. Here comes the attack ground. Both shots missed. Both sailed wide on either side. That Puma just threaded the most deadly needle ever. Wow, I cannot believe that's alive. KV-8 is now taking heavy damage from the remaining AT-gun. It looks like it could be destroyed. There it goes, sniped, and the Pumas are circling around the north to pick up the Su-76. It's trying to get to safety, but it will be destroyed as well. The Pumas come through, but the stolen AT-gun picks up the vetted one. So it's not all for naught, but that was a very expensive and unfortunate engagement for the machine up there. What looked like a suicidal and dead Puma for sure turned into both of his vehicles being destroyed. What a turnaround. And yes, Giap is going to have faction selection, without a doubt. He secured it in the very first moments of the game, because he had a 500 VP victory in Game 1. This very aggressive push by the Su-76. He wants this thing so bad, but I think it's gone. There it goes. IS-2 working on the south. A fresh Puma has been fielded. The Su-76 looks a little trapped, but the IS-2 should serve to protect it quite nicely. I don't think the Pumas are going to do anything too aggressive against it, although with 2 AT guns out, even the IS-2 is not uncounterable.
What is it?
Supply lines have been cut.
Your predecessor died a hero. Conscripts here.
Several squads on their way towards this area to engage against these Ostrupen. Easy to push them away. A huge army from the machine right now. A huge coordinated push headed towards the middle, I think, with this pretty large investment into anti-tank. 2 Pumas, 2 AT guns, and almost all Grans wiped. And this thing back for repairs. There should be a lot of room for conscripts and shock troops to take territory and win engagements. The Pumas and command tank can only do so much. There's only 1 squad of Grans with no LMG, squad of Ostrupen and a machine gun and a mortar. It's gonna have trouble stacking up against this force of infantry, but the machine would probably be served very well by just a little more, maybe 1 more squad of conscripts, maybe a flamethrower.
Here. What do you need?
And he has the manpower for it, so I don't know. We'll see what his choices are. How much PopCap are Pumas? 8. Not bad. They're quite efficient. It's okay to throw a couple of those into your army. You don't have to worry about that strangling your income.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
IS-2 is going to be back for repairs for a while. It just drove into that AT gun wall. It was an unfortunate maneuver. Here comes an infantry push for the north, which should be able to get it captured, I think. I don't know. There's a little bit of defense up here. I think shock troops should be able to win an engagement against this. MG42 is currently in the base, so actually infantry should have more room than ever to make something happen, but he's being very passive, very conservative. I feel like he thinks his opponent has more anti-infantry than he does. Without vision. Being a little bit psyched out. I think he can afford to be very aggressive. But he's playing so defensively. He should at least get the VP captured. IS-2 is going to try and defend here in the south, and AT guns and 2 Pumas are on their way. If that IS-2 goes down, it would be devastating. Fresh KV-8 is out, though. Su-76, IS-2, and KV-8 versus 2 Pumas, a command tank, and 2 AT guns moving up from behind. Looks like the engagement starts off well for the machine. Su-76 and IS-2 shots connecting with Pumas will force them back for repairs, and I think Giap, not liking the engagement, may completely pull out. Shock troops going in on these 2 squads will catch them in red cover. Oh no. I think that's going to cost Giap the north. Yep. Full retreat. Shock troops have not even taken damage, and conscripts will begin work on the VP. AT gun is moving up to protect just in case, but all of Giap's vehicles have been forced back for repairs. And this defense set up here in the middle is looking pretty brittle. There's an S-mine field and an AT gun. So as long as the S-mine field is handled correctly, there should be no issues for the machine in taking the central VP here. KV-8 finds an opportunity against the AT guns, maybe both AT guns. This could be very bad. Pumas arrive to try and save the day, diving straight past it, trying to get on the flank. There's just so many vehicles everywhere. KV-8 trying to clear AT guns. IS-2 moving up from behind. Su-76 moving up from behind. Command tank is taking damage from the stolen AT gun. Nice positioning, perfect placement for this engagement. KV-8 falling dangerously low is forced to retreat, and it looks like a full disengagement by both sides. The machine pushing up just enough to take control of the center VP and get a triple cap going for the first time in maybe 10 minutes. Destroyed an anti-tank gun. What happened? What anti-tank gun? Oh, he made it a recrew attempt right there. It didn't work. Okay. I think the machine wants to destroy this gun entirely. He will be exposing his vehicles to fire to do so. Incendiary artillery on the machine guns right here is actually a little off target, I think. Su-76 just pulls back into a slightly more defensive position where it can more easily escape from a big engagement in the center. If Giap does not retake the center, he's in a lot of trouble. He is triple capped right now with only 200 VPs remaining.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
And the machine is taking advantage of this really aggressive containment he's got going to take control of all territory in the north. AT gun moves up to get an opportunity against these vehicles. One has damaged engine. And Su-76 barrage doesn't look like it's going to cut it. This stuff needs to pull back to safety. And I think this stolen AT gun needs to move up to try and save the day here. Whoa, command tank providing vision just took a little too much damage though. That's got to pull back. Conscripts moving up on the flank, throwing Molotovs, trying to increase the pressure from the north. And Giap is just, he's struggling. He's struggling, but he actually came close to destroying this right there. If only those AT guns had just gotten maybe a couple more volleys off. KV-8 fully repaired in the south. Combat engineers are on their way to get repairs going on the IS-2. KV-8 stands a good chance of clearing out this AT gun if it chooses to expose itself. May not even have to. Conscripts plus the IS-2. There it goes. KV-8 moving up to camp behind this house maybe. Or maybe make a really aggressive maneuver beyond the house. That would probably be a mistake with the two Pumas defending now. Nope, he's just going to sit right there. Anything that exposes itself on either side of this house will be showered in flames. In fact, with the really long-lasting flame pools, he could just throw fire down repeatedly and just try and make dangerous zones for those infantry to move. But I think people still have not quite gotten used to how fire works. That's the last thing he needs to be thinking about, microing the spread of flames over the road while he's also got these other engagements happening and trying to keep Giap locked down and keep the clock ticking. He will get him down to 100 VPs. And Giap has shown no signs of breaking through. Whoa, that Su-76. Dangerous situation. This AT gun needs to move back up out of the base and help in these engagements. Without the added firepower of that pack, he's wasting that 9 pop cap, and there goes the KV-8 taken out by the AT gun wall plus Pumas. It's an expensive loss, but he can afford to replace it. Fortunately for the machine, he should be able to keep up the pressure here. I wonder if he intentionally made that aggressive maneuver knowing he could replace the KV-8 if it were to go down. Bit of a gamble, but not one that he could not afford. MG42 is forced to attempt capture of points instead of just defense because Giap's forces are wearing thin, and unfortunately it does not work. Conscripts have no problem chasing that away. Only 50 points remaining. I think we're looking at the end of the game. He must attack now, but he can't because all of his vehicles are not in combat capable condition. I think that could be the game. Will this harassment attempt succeed? No. A lone squad of Ostrupen is about to walk straight into an MG42. There's nothing that's going to make it to the center in time. There's nothing headed for the north. I think this is over.
25 points remaining.
German territory.
There you go. Giap knows that he cannot recover this game and concedes. So we're going to see this series go to game 3. Well played by the Machine. Giap, of course, does have faction selection, so I'm curious to see what faction he's going to select. I am assuming Soviet, since he had a 500 VP victory, but I guess anything's possible. I also wonder if the Machine... Wait. What? Was that really just like a 20-minute stutter? No, okay, the game's over, right? Yeah, okay. I'm curious to see if the Machine will switch from OKW to Oster. But either way, very impressive performance from both players. The Machine was faltering a little bit there, but he had some really well-executed maneuvers in the last 10 or 20 minutes, where he was on the back foot, but he just slowly started winning engagements here in the south. And really brought the game back under his control. GG indeed. Hopefully we'll see something just as good going into game 3.